concerns. He says the impressive development of social networks, of content and information exchange, of the desire to comment on and intervene in every discussion of every topic, tells us that the internet has given rise to an omnidirectional flow of transversal and personal communication. The structure of social network communication, in which relationships are more horizontal and overlapping, presents a challenge to our church, whose communication structure is built on a hierarchical model. This is an area, too, where the Roundtable could help in lending your expertise to assist parishes, dioceses, even the Bishops' Conference, with technical expertise and resources to create programs that could realize this goal. Most every diocese has a website. More bishops and Catholics are blogging. Yet, involvement in interactive networks is still very limited. And we're not interacting with each other in networks that we control. But technology, of course, is not enough. Soundboards have hundreds of switches that control the volume and tone of the actors. Revolving sets automatically change scenes instantaneously. In the new production of West Side Story, the audience is literally taken from their seats to a location under a bridge, to an area defaced by graffiti and surrounded by a chain-linked fence where the rumble between the sharks and the jets will take place. The set draws huge applause because it is so striking. In a similar way, we have seen communion technology develop and advance exponentially. We can Twitter, we blog, we email, we use Skype. Jeff even mentioned that today. We choose Facebook partners, instant messaging friends. Blackberries and iPhones are in constant use, fingers frantically keyboarding messages. Yet in both the theater and communication, while technology has changed the horizon in which we live, technology cannot create good theater or good content. Theater depends primarily on the quality of the written play and the skill of the actors. Likewise, communication, while enhanced by technology, rests on the power of the message and the authenticity of the communicator. Technology facilitates the fundamental desire of people to communicate and to engage one another. In this year's World Communication Day message, Pope Benedict says, the desire for connectedness and the instinct for communication that are so obvious in contemporary culture are best understood as modern manifestations of the basic and enduring propensity of humans to reach beyond themselves and to seek communion with the other. We cannot lose sight of the quality of the content that is put into circulation using these means. From time immemorial, communication has happened most powerfully in personal face-to-face interaction that virtual communication can never fully replicate. So in countless World Communication Day statements, our popes have praised technology, but cautioned us as well, reminding us that we cannot rely on technology alone to preach the gospel. Finally, building a climate of candor. In their recent Harvard Business Review article, What's Needed Next? A Culture of Candor, James O'Toole and Warren Bennis describe what is involved in building a culture of candor in which members of an organization communicate honestly with one another for the well-being of the institution. Surely in the body of Christ, that powerful Pauline metaphor for church, such open, honest, and direct communication should be the norm. O'Toole and Bennis identify 8 characteristics of a culture of candor. Tell the truth, encourage people to speak truth to power, reward contrarians, practice having unpleasant conversations, diversify your sources of information, admit your mistakes, build organizational support for transparency, and set information free. Tell the truth. During our chapter 11, I struggled mightily with Father Monin's question about discretion and transparency, whether to put out information that was embarrassing, disturbing, and potentially harmful for the church. What would people think? Yet, openness and transparency were critical. There are no secrets in our cell phone, internet world of today. Clearly, it was best and right to get out the story as it was. That alone could heal. Tell the truth. The axiom is, when there is bad news, run to the story, not away from it. Speak truth to power. The abuse crisis reflected again the fact that it is difficult for people to speak the truth to power. The story, as you've heard, is told that when a priest is ordained a bishop, he will never hear the truth again. It amazes me how reticent people are, priests and bishops included, to say what is on their minds, what they feel or believe. Yet unless he hears others' perspectives, a bishop can be blindsided, the church misled. Likewise, a proverb says, if you want to know what someone is really like, put them in authority. It is true sometimes that people in authority can be more self-centered and less interested in what people think or say or what they need. In the church, this can be disastrous. Reward contrarians. When I was rector of our high school seminary, Quigley Seminary South in Chicago, Sister Helen Marshall, our Dean of Studies, often seemed to have an opinion contrary to mine. She respectfully, sometimes, but firmly always, made her point known. She challenged my assumptions, raised questions. She kept me from some devastating mistakes. She knew how to say tough things in acceptable, palatable ways. A rare but important gift. Diversify your sources of information. There are some priests in our diocese, and perhaps elsewhere, who go it alone. They ask no one's advice, seek no one's counsel. Their finance and pastoral counsels are moribund. Cut off, they go their merry way, leaving people 2 options: go along or go away. Neither choice benefits the church. Admit mistakes. The humblest moments I have experienced, and I'm sure this is true for my brother bishops, have been those occasions when I have met abuse victims and apologized for the harm done to them. The church was wrong, and that admission was healing. Pope John Paul II, throughout the Jubilee year, acknowledged again and again the church's mistakes and apologized. That was not weakness. To the contrary, it was the church at its best,